Let's begin with feast consultation. What I want you to do at your tables is, you pretty much had a chance to meet everybody here. I like to move people around the tables. But at your tables, go ahead and talk about what type of consultation. I want you to describe the qualities that would be attractive to you in a consultation at feast. Okay? What are the attributes of consultation at feast that would really get the community going, really get the community engaged, involved, that would have higher levels of participation, that would be, consultation as an attractive force at feast? What would it look like? What would describe it? Okay, and then we'll do it. Okay, so talk to your tables. Let's describe what that looks like.
Or the weekend before, trip that when I heard the dissenting, sometimes I shifted my movement because I didn't think of that, and to be grateful for that.
Okay. Yeah. Now let's continue on.
The greatest opportunity for sharing of individual thoughts on a spectrum from small group to the large group.
Okay, so can we say full participation in some way?
Yeah, but I'm saying in various modes. That It doesn't just have to be a person speaking to the whole group.
Small and large group.
Yeah.
Okay.
And valued participation. As an individual, I should feel responsible to share my ideas with the group. And as a recipient, I should value what others share with the group.
Okay, responsible and value. I mean, you want that. I mean, in many ways, that's engaging. I mean, it's more fully engaging. It's emotionally engaging to some extent, but it's being willing to have that. Are you talking now, when you say with the group or with individuals or with?
In any communicated situation in terms of consultation or otherwise.
Okay. Oops. So responsible and valuable sharing.
Valued
sharing. Okay. Other thoughts on the qualities that we want to have?
Well, they have to be respectful and considerate of others because there are young families that have to leave and people have to wake up early and they go on and they miss out the fellowship, they just leave
Okay.
So we have to be
So we should be timely in some way.
somehow.
Okay. Well, is that okay to say? Timely? Okay. So we recognize timely. Okay. So, yes?
We need positive ways to deal with the individuals in our community who may tend to be long-winded and may want to... Yeah. Is that what you're getting to? Yeah. We need positive ways of dealing with...
Let me say two things. Let me say we need a variety of ways to share, and we might need limits to some regard on speaking. Okay, variety of sharing and limits on speaking. Okay, well that's very interesting. Anything else? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
The quality I like about hosting a feast is I want it to be welcoming, and I want to have good food.
Somebody told us the truth.
In that order, or do you want?
No, and the social part, I want to have some good food. We had great food last night. Thank you all.
Okay. Oh.
Some of these things kind of fall under what we have used the word trustworthy facilitation. So that the environment, the facilitator sets that trustworthy is
Okay.
trustworthy.
Well, let's look at it the other way. What are the qualities of the person that might be in that role? What are the qualities you want in someone doing that?
Sense of justice.
Fairness or
Justice.
okay.
To have the courage to not allow people to beat each other up, for example.
Okay.
To step in and say, to skillfully say, okay, let's maintain the framework of the feast.
Okay. A kind cop, maybe? Okay, but you need to be willing to enforce the guidelines. Okay, let me just take maybe one more, and then I think we need to move on.
I need a clarification on spiritual safety.
Okay. I can't offer that. Who would like to? Lee? Oh, you're talking about spiritual safety? What does that mean?
That when people come into the feast, that they know that no matter what they share, that it's going to be safe for them. There's a reluctance for people to come into a feast and share their genuine feelings because they know that other people will be allowed to punish them for just expressing their thoughts.
Okay.
And the punishment factor, I mean, it's nothing more than a person whose internal beliefs have been threatened. But and in their threat, that they perceive that, oh, that's negative, but it's actually not. It's just that their beliefs are being challenged, and until they get skillful enough to let that go and allow another person to express a difference of opinion, well, that's part of the prime requisite in consultation called patience in suffering and difficulty. There's a tremendous amount of discomfort going to the realm of pain when a person's belief systems are threatened. So for the whole community to accept the fact, well, okay, I need to learn to let that go. But sometimes it takes a good facilitator and the framework to be set at the feast that no matter what you hear, it's part of your responsibility to hold yourself and not lash out at somebody just because it's different than yours. Well, that's spiritual safety. And because that's guaranteed, that's part of the condition of the covenant of the institution of the feast and consultation. Okay. That's Abdu'l Baha's gift, that if we do our part in that covenant, that we will receive the spiritual bestowal, so that spiritual safety is guaranteed as a condition in the writings. Okay. As translated into practical reality, which what we're doing here.
We also understand the reciprocal obligations in consultation of both the speaker and the listener. You know, that it recognizes that both have, we have the obligation to be open, honest, loving, caring, frank, as we speak, and we have that same obligation as we listen. So maybe in some ways that's the spiritual safety as expressed in the writings with the guidance around consultation, that we abide by those. That's an interesting way. Okay, last one, and then we'll move on.
Preparation.
I'm sorry?
Preparation.
Preparation. Okay. Now.
Not just of the feast, but I think in the writings it says that people who attend the feast are supposed to prepare themselves spiritually to the feast. Guilty as charged.
Okay, so you can see now, how often have you had this conversation in your community? Just out of curiosity, has anybody had a conversation like this about what they want to see in their consultation and feast? Have you seen that at all? We have done it minimally once in the community I was in. We talked about it, but still, it is really difficult. And sometimes it becomes a management problem because we're presented with, well, you got to read this letter, you got to read this letter, you got to do this, this, and this, and that leaves us 30 seconds for open consultation, right? So we need to think about other ways of handling that. So, if these are the qualities that we want, there are corresponding guidelines that go along with all of these. And those are the guidelines that the LSA, might adopt initially and bring back to the community for consultation and feast. So this might be a two-part consultation. We're at feast now. We're talking about what would this community really want for good consultation. I'm going to hold on just a second. What would this community really want for good consultation? Okay, take it back to the LSA. The LSA might take a look through this, and based on what we're hearing the community say, these are the guidelines we would like to use for our consultation and feast. and reflect back, and is this what we're hearing you say? So translate these qualities into the actions, okay, that we have at Feast. So I'm just going to give you a couple examples here. We're not going to go through all of these because we honestly don't have time. When it says clear topic, to me, that says agenda, okay, to keep it focused. If we want it timely, we have a schedule in some way that the community has agreed will allow 20 minutes at each feast for open consultation. Okay, if we want a variety of sharing, we'll agree. In some communities, I work with, they went around and put up flip chart paper. Anybody could share anything. It's like open consultation. They actually, on some of the flip charts, they had the ideas the LSA wanted input on, and community members just go on and write on those. They could do a pass around, like we did, on the cards for sharing. We could do spectrums for sharing. All of those forms of sharing give you more information in less time with fuller participation, and it takes out the need to worry about limits on speaking. But the assembly may decide to, okay, we're going to have, because our goal is full participation, we're going to put a 1-minute limit on speaking. There's my bell. I'm done. Okay. We're going to put a limit on speaking. We're going to have a committee in charge, we're going to have committee in charge of greeting people at the door at every feast and welcoming them, okay? Or something like that. So, I know that was, major welcoming. We're going to have folks that we're going to ask to be our food experts. Maybe we break feasts down into, we have a hosting home, we have the devotional program, we have people that might be in charge of the food, and other people that might be in charge of the consultation at the agenda. If you want full participation, feast, give everybody something to do. Right? Because if you just come in and sit and listen, for an hour and then you go home, why go? But if you're going to come because you're needed there and you're actively engaged, that will keep people involved. No, I'm going to go back and then.
Yesterday we were talking about the LSA guidelines and training on them and everything. When you were doing this, all of a sudden when she came up with the preparations, I was thinking, you know what? If an LSA really wants to know what the community wants, do something like this. What are the qualities you want at Feast? And then the LSA go back and they look at this and they look into the guidelines, because some of this stuff is in the guidelines.
Yeah.
And bring that and just say, now we're going to learn together, because oftentimes I've been shut down at Feast more than once. And it's not very comfortable. And I don't like to go back to a feast if I'm going to be shut down all the time. So, so things like that. And it's not just, I think the guidelines, if you're looking at a lot of the communities are starting to study the guidelines for the whole community, that's a place to go for the...
Okay. Yeah. So maybe you bring back and you deepen on what do we know about how we should do this too. Okay. Huh?
Question, where we have a community that has many different levels of ability. Okay, so maybe we have members who can't come to the feast because they can't drive at night. They're disabled. Is it ever appropriate to then have a consultation that says, you know what, we're not hearing from so-and-so. Let's go have someone visit them, have their consultation, and add it to the next meeting.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you want to engage the whole community, you have to reach out to the whole community. And the people that are already coming are already there. So you want to reach, your goal is to encourage, the assembly has a goal of really encouraging strong participation at Feast, and we feel this can be accomplished through having more vibrant consultation, and we want to get your input, or these are all aspects of Feast, because the food, obviously, and the social portion of Feast, okay? Okay, so this gives you an idea. When you begin with the qualities are kind of the frame, and then the specific action underneath those. So if the quality, how can we work together to create a clear topic? I mean, if we want clear topics, well, what type of agenda are we using? And how are we creating the agenda? Okay, so let's do an example of that. When you create an agenda live, okay, and let's talk about the movie last night. The Education is Not a Crime. right? Isn't that the name of the movie? What are the topics around that movie that we would like to consult on? And I'm just asking for topics, not the ideas. What are the different topics to be able to make the best use of that movie? Topics. Yes. Venues. Okay. What else?
Creation of justice.
Okay. But let's get more specific. You mean from a discussion format, or?
Right.
So let's back that up and talk about talking about it. Okay. Discussion groups. Okay. Okay. What else do we have?
I'm sorry, Trip, are we talking about topics within the movie or topics within getting the...
Anything related to be able to share this movie with a broader audience. Okay?
We could talk about whether we're going to use electronics or something to get the message out, to have the discussion more than in that venue.
Okay, so venues. So,
What, electronics or technology or something?
okay, so some type of form of electronic sharing. Okay,
In addition to...
okay. What else?
PR, collaboration with surrounding communities.
Collaboration with surrounding communities. Okay.
That's AHEM. AHEM.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. What was I writing here?
Discussion.
Discussion. Thank you.
Public relations.
Public relations. Okay. Any other aspects of this? Any topics on this we need to address?
Workforce.
What?
Workforce.
What?
That means like, who's going to do it?
Volunteers, a task force.
Okay. Well, that's going to be handled within each of the topic areas.
Oh.
Okay. So let's say that we need to put this into action at some point. You're absolutely right. But let's see what action we want to take.
Do we need refreshments?
Uh,
I'm thinking about John here.
Let's talk about that. No. Let's talk about that under discussion. Okay. What else? Now it's interesting because LSAs or communities were also being asked to discuss Selma, the movie too, right? I know that's the way it was in California. Yeah, and so I don't know what discussion groups. There are wonderful resources. There's the there's the Study Circle Resource Group in Boston. I mean, we do study circles, but they do a wonderful job with study circles because they will list a topic and they will present 6 different perspectives around a topic, and you can discuss those perspectives rather than having to take ownership yourself for a particular perspective you might share.
What's the name of that organization?
I'll have to get back to you. It's the Study Circle Resource Group, I believe, but they're out of Boston, and they have a wonderful model, and we actually used it in our Baha'i community a while ago for discussion. Yes?
I think that for presenting a movie like this, we need marketing strategies.
Okay, I'm going to say PR/marketing. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to do this quickly. And I'm going to name a table with a topic, move to whatever table you'd like to move to, and I want you to come back with 3 recommendations. This is going to be very quick. We have a very vibrant community here, and you have many ideas we'd like to share. I want to ask one person at each table to be responsible for bringing forward the recommendations from that table. And I want to ask people other than that to volunteer and be our spectrum. And we're just going to go through the ideas quickly. So if you're the speaker at the table, stay there. If you're not, you can volunteer to be our spectrum. And again, this is make-believe. But I'm showing you what you could do. So, let's get our volunteers up here, right, real quick. Speakers, stay at the table. Volunteers, come on up if you'd like to. You don't have to. In less than half an hour, See, I think this is my own personal opinion, but we try to do too many things in consultation too. Like I said, one better decision is better than 5 non-decisions. I mean, and the consultation is the time to take advantage of the wisdom of the community. So, who's our reader at venues? Sarah?
Yes.
Okay, read off the recommendations, and you're just going to move as you hear them. This over here is very interested, and down here is little interest. She's going to read through them, and we're just going to move. First one.
Multiple low-cost or free venues rather than just one target.
Multiple low-cost or free venues. Go ahead and move based on that.
This is very and this is not?
Yeah, this is very, this is not. Okay.
Well done.
I say, jolly good.
Okay, next.
Food.
What? You're going to have some?
Serving food at the venue.
Okay.
Even if it's only
Multiple low cost.
Way out.
Okay, consensus. Okay, that's interesting. There,
Very interesting.
yeah, food, no consensus.
This is not pretend for me, I have to take this down.
Okay. Is that it?
I'm not saying that, I'm just giving it back.
There's the specific types of venues, some of them, should I go over those?
Let's mention a couple specific venues.
All right,
Go
for
ahead.
instance, Lions Club or Rotary, specific.
Service
like
groups
that.
to
Service
show the
groups.
film.
Okay, service groups. Go to their place and show it to their community. I didn't experience. There it is.
Okay, next.
Interfaith community showing, like we have an interfaith group.
Interfaith
They
groups.
can gather people in an interfaith community context. Official interfaith.
Okay.
where is it?
Okay.
I'm curious about these guys.
Go ahead, keep going.
Can I ask that question?
Go. No, you can't.
Okay, very well. That's what I'm saying.
Showtime.
All right, and at a community center, renting at a community center, which is more general.
I'm way over.
Okay, that's fine. Venues, we're done. So where we have areas we might pursue is having multiple low-cost areas and working with interfaith or community centers. There's not as much interest in serving food at the venues.
And then the original one that I was asked for by the assembly is the university itself.
Oh, the university.
Just to double check.
Holding it at the university. Go ahead and move based on that.
That's what the assembly will be.
Okay, good. Okay, so, and when I write MS, that means medium strong. So if I see medium strong,
I'm
consensus.
over, there's just not enough room over there.
There's plenty of room over there.
Well,
You have to be friendly. Okay, next.
Doesn't want to cuddle up.
Next group, discussion group.
Suggestion for discussion, small groups with assigned topics.
Small groups with assigned topics. We're talking about discussion now. Small
After
groups.
the movie.
Yeah. Small groups, assigned topics.
Oh, is that
Okay, next.
Task force, preview and develop topics and assign questions to each group.
Okay, task
Confused
force.
about the group part.
So that's task force.
We're talking about discussion around the
Is this
film.
before the
Around the
film,
film.
after the film?
Listen,
After the film.
After the film.
After the
Breaking
film.
the audience down
Wait,
into
say again, task
discussion.
force.
Oh, okay.
By
Okay,
topics.
so the task force will preview the film and develop topics and assign questions to each group to discuss after the film.
I didn't know what the groups are doing.
pre-assigned, predetermined question for discussion. Okay,
We'll have a moderator for the discussion.
moderator.
Yeah, Small groups,
By Sue.
This is going too fast, I'm not measuring what he's got.
Keep going.
the small groups will be timed and then present to the larger group. There'll be a timeline for everything.
Small group to large group. Really?
they'll present their discussion to the larger group.
Okay,
Uh,
no, I'm going to stop you right there.
Okay.
One of the principles I always work with is full participation, and you get that when people can participate in smaller groups and then build in some different ways into larger groups, which is exactly what we did here by topics. Okay, so go ahead.
For the viewing of the film, cards will be given to each person to make their comments about the film on.
So comment cards.
Comment cards.
Don't go there, come on.
One more. Before the film is viewed, there'll be a list of possible topics to watch for in the film, so that people can be thinking about that topic as they watch the film. That's all.
And that's exactly what the study showed recently. There was a study on that where people were given the topic ahead of time versus not, and they preferred not having it ahead of time, which was interesting. Okay, electronic sharing groups. Spectrum groups, stay there, stay there. Electronic sharing.
Consult with your public information officer.
What?
Before you do any electronic sharing, consult with your public information officer as requested by the National Spiritual Center.
Okay.
I'm only repeating what I heard in my group.
Okay.
And then the other thing we had was come up with a way of sharing, emailing or tweeting that enables people to share with their friends in two different ways. Sorry, this is not well formulated, but one that's a sort of a public invitation and one that is a private invitation to your friends and family to view the film.
Let's break it down.
Yeah.
Public electronic invitations. Go ahead and move. Public electronic invitations. Just cast it out there. Okay. Private electronic invitations.
That's not a gift to you.
Now, private, you didn't move fast enough. Private, so
So
you're
that
more
you can
interested.
invite your friends and family to view the film in whatever way the National lets you do that.
Like they can view it online if they
Okay,
can't go.
and so a combined private and public invitation. Go ahead and move.
And viewing.
You can do any of those. Huh. How do you let people know about this? No. How do you let people know about this?
I personally
Yes.
would do it personally.
Not electronic. Okay, so personal invitations, just to check it out, personal invitations. Whoa. Personal invitations.
Well, I like that idea too.
We're still not, see now,
Well, wait a minute,
It's
that's the
interesting.
like, isn't this the like it? This is the.
You're talking about
Very
personal
interesting.
invitation, it's
Oh,
somewhere
wait.
in the middle. Are you saying only? That's what I kind
No.
of heard
No,
Lynn say.
no.
You're saying only.
Okay,
No.
let's say invitations, for the recognition of the group, invitations are a combination of personal, private electronic, and public electronic. Go ahead with that mix.
Well, that's like three different things.
Exactly. We're going to use all three as a strategy.
It's your choice.
Sometimes it
You have
takes
your
more
choice
than
of
one
any of
year.
those three. Go ahead and move unless there's something else. What says?
Oh, you're taking it, you have a choice.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, between those three.
Well, how do you know where to go for the three?
No, that any one of those three are very interesting to me.
At least one.
At
You
least-
don't
at
have
least one
to
of
do
those
all three. You get a choice of
Okay.
which one you want
So
to
you
do.
could choose. Okay, let's talk to collaboration with the surrounding communities. Get ready to move.
So, in collaboration, we feel that there needs to be an initiator to contact the surrounding communities so that no one gets left out. That initiator then will bring together a first meeting so that the initiators of each community can actually see the film.
Okay.
And so therefore, from that point, then we would plan an additional meeting, and it appears that it would need to be in collaboration with those other task force.
Okay, we need one idea.
Okay.
No, because in that progression, you thought out everything down to the end. So what was your ending idea? Where did you end up?
The initiators, after viewing representatives from each community who've already seen the film, then would collaborate with these other task force?
Okay, that it'd be a multi-community task force for the coordinating the viewing of film. Multi-community task force versus a single community task force. So we're talking multi-community. All right, so where are you at with that? Okay, is there anything else you wanted to check out?
I think that's it.
I think that's
Collaboration.
Okay, in PR and marketing. PR marketing.
Okay. Reaching appropriate populations, i.e. multicultural centers, university have on the campus, post in newspaper.
Got to stop you right there. We need one idea at a time.
Okay.
One idea at a time.
So, it was reaching appropriate populations.
Okay, and
And that
one
was-
strategy, one way
For
to
that,
do
rent or use a public facility.
it. Well, we're up here on venues there. This
Yes.
is how are we going to let
We're,
people,
we're overlapping a bit.
I'm sorry?
We're overlapping with venues. When we read our stuff, we realized it overlapped.
Okay, well, let's focus on the recommendations you have around how to inform people of this. Now, we did talk about electronic, or we did talk about, yeah.
Okay, work with like-minded groups. Work with like-minded groups in their centers, i.e. a multicultural center.
Okay, let's go with the idea of a multicultural center as a venue.
advertise at a multicultural center.
Yes.
The assumption is that if you have it there, everyone associated with that center will know about it, as opposed to having to advertise to try to find them through like a newspaper, for example.
Okay, well, I'm going to back up here because I'm going to say that's something that we wanted the venue people to probably take a look at. So here, how do we get the word out? And if you want to advertise at a multicultural center, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so just add advertising in front of what I said.
Okay, so advertise at, promote through multicultural centers.
Yep.
Go ahead and note please on that. Multicultural center. Yeah, a little bit. Okay, what else do you have?
Work with the campus groups.
Okay, work with the university groups as a way to market this.
Put flyers out on campus or something like that?
Well, they have a lot electronic bulletin boards. They have written bulletin boards. They have their newsletters. So you're reaching a wider variety, and you've got the younger people that are more interested in change.
Okay.
Is it just universities, we're not including high school centers?
We're just taking one at a time.
That would be another venue.
Because I've not heard anybody say that we're on the last group. I haven't heard anybody say anything other than universities. And I come from a community college background, so.
Okay.
That's a really good point.
Oh, no, I thought we just talked about universities. I'm sorry.
No, that she's talking about high
That's
school.
what I'm saying. You're saying university, that means anybody, say, 22 above. What about those that might be, say, 14 to 18 and
So boys
We're
and
talking
girls.
high school then.
sure?
Okay.
So you have boys and girls clubs, where you could take that.
Let's ask that question. What about approaching high schools to show the movie at high schools? Go ahead and move it. Okay, that's medium strong, a little bit of sense. Okay, so.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Why do you feel that it wouldn't be appropriate to reach a high school aged children?
Start at the end of the line.
You get into confrontational issues with parent permission.
I mean, parents may object. And that's the challenge at high schools, is the kids have to do things with parental permission, and then we're showing a film, about the plight of the Baha'is. True, but we're, bringing up issues that parents feel may not be appropriate for their kids. Okay? Okay, let's go ahead and take a seat now. Thank you very much. So you can see now we have a lot of people here, and we were taking a look at a lot of different aspects. All I want you to think in terms of the incremental nature of making decisions. Maybe at a meeting like this, and we've all been to things like this. This took us less than half an hour, with 30 people, to come up and discuss 5 different topics regarding this, and to have areas that, good areas of input we can go forward on. We know that we're interested possibly in multiple low-cost venues, that possible interfaith and community centers, and maybe at universities, that there's not an interest necessarily in having food at the venue. The discussion, we think, should include a moderator and maybe comment cards, but we didn't come to any other conclusion there. We talked about sharing through the public information officer. We talked about collaborating, having some form of multi-community task force. We talked about having PR and marketing through multicultural centers, the universities and community colleges. Okay, so we figured out a lot on this, right, as strategies. This is a perfect example of what you can do at Feast, obviously. Now the Feast isn't a decision-making body. All we're doing is providing recommendations, and maybe the LSA decides to appoint a task force with this input to it, and maybe they update at each consultation in some ways. The key, though, is participation. People need to feel engaged and involved. Okay, they need to feel that there's something, there's a reason. I guess I'm talking from the whys over here, but there's a reason to come to Feast. Okay, we're giving them something, but then we're telling them what they need to know, and then we're telling them ways of action, and then we're allowing them up here to use their imagination too. So we're kind of addressing all learning styles around that too. Okay.